For those of you who do not know Megan, she is my upline. Oh my gosh, my computer's talking to me. Okay, so Megan is my upline, and she inspired me from day one, you guys, to take this business to the next level. Like, I knew that I wanted to follow in her footsteps because when I had first started coaching, she was just stepping away from teaching full-time to do this business full-time. So I knew that I had a ton to learn from her, and her business has grown like wildfire in the last 3 years since I've been around. So she has so much to share with us about building a business, making income. Please take advantage of her time and ask her any questions you have. I know she loves talking about this topic, and I couldn't think of anybody better to come on and talk about building a team because she is somebody who seriously has done it by herself. I mean, she gives her team credit, of course. She's always so good about that, but she doesn't have an upline like all of you have. So she is somebody who has seriously just taken this business for exactly what it is, and she has made a dynasty is what it seems like to me. So, Megan, take it over.
Yeah, thank you. That was a fun little intro. It's cool because whenever I feel like I don't know if I've ever done a team call for one of my coaches' teams. I think this might be my first one. I think I've done like little live videos here and there, but I've never actually done a call. So usually I'm introducing myself to other teams, and I feel like when they introduce me, they don't know me and they don't know what I value and those types of things. So it's kind of, thank you, Paige. That was very sweet is what I'm trying to say. It's fun to like hear from people who like see me day to day. So real quick, I think most of you guys, I'm looking at this and most of your all's names are pretty familiar, but there are some people on here that I don't necessarily recognize. And so I look forward to getting to know you with our team being as big as it is. And I don't know if you've noticed the boards, like we are adding like 50 to 60 coaches every single week, which is insane to me. It's absolutely like blows my mind that that is happening. But I feel like, okay, this is 2 teams. Got it. So some of you guys don't know who I am. So I'll give you just like a really quick recap. It won't take very long, but of who I am and that type of thing. So I am from Missouri. I live in Jefferson City. I used to teach and I taught for 2.5 years. I started like I started coaching halfway through a year of teaching in December. So I finished out and then taught for 2 more years before I decided to leave teaching and pursue coaching full time. We had just gotten married. I had just gotten married to my husband whenever we decided it was time for me to step away from teaching. And I started though in a very different phase of life than I am now. So whenever I started coaching, I was single, living in a little apartment. It was just me and my dog. Like we were just enjoying the single girl life. And then I met my now husband. We got married. So I've transitioned from single to dating to engaged to married to pregnant to being a new mom to now pregnant for the second time, all in the 5 years that I've coached. So if there's a life phase that you can go through, I feel like I've gone through. The only thing that I haven't done is working and coaching as a new mom. And so that's the only piece that I feel like I'm kind of missing. And I try not to let that hold me back, but because I truly believe that you can be a mom and work and do this business at the same time. It's just one of those places that I haven't gotten to be. So that's a little bit of my story. Whenever I started out coaching, I did not start out like balls to the wall. Like I did not hit Success Club right away. I was not a success starter. It took me 6 months to hit Emerald. It literally like the first 6 months, I was like, I don't even know really what I'm doing. I had a coach. We had an active upline at the time. But my coach was very like kind of hands off and kind of like, whatever you want to do, like I'll be ready whenever you're ready. And I appreciate that she did that because it kind of forced me to establish my beliefs in this business. I definitely wish that I had started a little bit quicker now looking back. But I guess it's kind of one of those, like, you can just decide at any moment that you're going to go all in on this business. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, well, I haven't done anything for 6 months, I can't do anything now. You can start. I was always consistent with posting. I was always consistent with working out. I was always consistent with Shakeology. I just wasn't consistent with inviting people to do this with me, essentially. So tonight I kind of want to talk a little bit about gaining leaders and not followers, because I think if there's one thing that I can kind of see as an asset that I have done, is I feel like the coaches that are on our team that are leaders, they're not going anywhere. Like, I have a little bit of a story. I went to when you hit 5-star, you get to go to this exclusive event called Leadership, and it is amazing. They spoil the crud out of you, but the best thing is you're there with like 200 to 300 other coaches. So it's very small, very intimate, and it's like you level up when you're there. And I was having dinner with a couple other coaches. One of the girls is a 15-star diamond, and I was just like I could praise her. I was like, you are like amazing, just soaking in everything she would say. And she was just kind of asking me about our team and that type of thing. And I was like, we have a really stable 5-star. And she's like, well, how do you have such a stable 5-star? And I was like, well, because all of my diamonds are star diamonds, which means that they have diamonds underneath them. And whenever you hit kind of 1 and 2-star, Beachbody, I feel like, starts seeing you more as a leader, and you have a more stable business that's not kind of going in and out of hitting diamond and going back down in rank and hitting diamond and going back down in rank. And she's like, that is so incredible that your team has that on there. She's like, I don't even have that. She's like, I have maybe 1 or 2 star diamonds. And this girl was a 15-star diamond. It's like those people that you put up on this pedestal. And she's like, that is so valuable that you have those girls that are not going anywhere. They're lifers and they're sticking with you forever. And it's funny because I just feel like I've just kind of always taken the next step in this business, and I've never really like gotten ahead of myself, and I've never gotten frustrated when I missed a goal. So whenever I did hit diamond, which I know this is a kind of a diamond push pod that you guys have going on, it was my end goal. I thought it was the end all be all. And you know what? I hit it, and then I dropped, and I lost that diamond rank for like 6 months. I even had a coach under me who was diamond, and I was not. Talk about like that kind of sucks whenever your coaches are advancing past you. And not that I have anything wrong with that. I encourage them. Paige is very open with me about her business and what's going on. And I encourage her to go past what I've accomplished in this business, because I want to see that. I think that a true leader wants to see her leaders advance past her and do better. But at that time, I was so kind of young in the business. It was still my first year as a coach. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, what am I doing? Like, this coach that I'm supposed to be mentoring is, essentially doing better than me and holding this more stable business than I was. And I think the thing was, I made that diamond such a big deal. And not saying it isn't. It's a great accomplishment, but there's more to this business. There's building a team that is so much fun. So this is just kind of how I was. I honestly felt like I was kind of scared to attract leaders to my team. And so I want to ask you that question. Like, are you scared to attract women who are actually going to work this business and possibly even work this business harder than you work this business? So does that scare you at all? Is that what's holding you back, that you're just kind of like scared of who's going to come, and are they going to be better at coaching than you are, or whatever you think it is? And is it that they might work harder than you? Are you possibly scared that you won't be able to actually lead them, that you won't feel qualified to lead them, that they might push you to grow where you're fearful to grow? And this was the thing that kept me back so much in that first year, was I was so like this word being a leader was so terrifying to me for some reason. And I remember when I was teaching, I had my principal asked me to come into her office, and this was I think it was my third year total teaching, but my first year in this new school district. So it was my first year teaching under her. And she asked me to be like our department head. So in middle school, we had like head of department. So I taught language arts, and she asked me to be the head of all of the language arts teachers, 6th through 8th grade. And I was a third year teacher. So I was 25 at the time. And I remember sitting there, and she asked me if I would do this. And I was like, I'm a little scared to lead those other teachers. And she goes, well, there's no better way to learn how to lead others than to lead others and actually just do it. And ever since then, like, it probably impacted me more with coaching than it did with teaching. But I just remember thinking, oh, so you become a leader by just doing it, by taking action, by going and just seeing how to do it, and kind of failing through it is kind of how I feel like it. So I've got kind of 5 mindset shifts that I want you guys to work on. So if that's something that you're like, man, maybe I am kind of just like scared to bring in leaders, and that's what's holding me back the most. So the first one is, I want you to transition from being scared to post about what you actually love about coaching. Because I feel like a lot of our team, when we post about coaching, it's very fluffy. It's very much like, I love this community. I love the girls. I love the fact that it holds me accountable. Like, it's very, very like fluffy pageant girl kind of posting. So are you scared? Transitioning from being scared to actually what you actually love about coaching. And that would mean that you have to actually like sit down with pen and paper and write out, here's what I actually love about coaching. Okay. Posting about what you actually love about coaching, posting about your dreams with this business. That's a big one, because I feel like I did not switch in my coaching career until I actually started posting about what my dreams were. And, at first it was kind of like, I don't even think I talked about what my dreams were, because I was so scared of what other people might think, or whatever it might be. But once I started making a vision board and talking about those visions on that board, the type of women that I wanted to work with, the type of lifestyle that I wanted to create, the days that I wanted to create, the whatever it might be, the mindset that I wanted to grow into. Like, it wasn't just things that I wanted to get. It was like, I want to be this woman. I'm not her yet. A big one you guys hear me say all the time is, I want to be a leader of leaders. If that's something that's attractive to you, post about it, put it out there. Like, tell people that that's the woman you want to become. Just because you aren't her yet doesn't mean you can't post about who you want to be in the future, and who you want to work with, those types of women. Like, when Paige and I first started talking, I literally talked to my husband about her nonstop, because I was like, Paige is my dream coach. I was like, she does this, she does this, she does this, she does, like, she has all of these things. I was like, she's a believer. She, used to be an athlete. She seems like she asks all the right questions. Like, she wants this. She was even looking for like to start her own business. I was like, she has what I'm looking for. And my husband even was like, well, if she keeps telling you no, just offer to buy her challenge pack for her if she's so caught up on the money. And I was like, no, I was like, I'm going to wait for her. She's going to say yes. Like, I was just like so adamant. I was like, I am not forcing her into this. I am making her, yeah, Paige, no, you shouldn't have waited any longer. I love it. Zach's kind of one of those, like, make it happen, force it to happen. And I'm kind of like, I've got patience. I'm just going to wait and see. But, if it is Paige, who's your upline that you look up to, like, write down her qualities and start posting about that. If it's another coach that you follow, write down her qualities and start posting about it, and being very, very real and like I don't know. I feel like sometimes we get so fluffy on who we're looking for and what they want and what they dream about. And sometimes we just have to sit down and be like, this is who I'm looking for. I think one person that does a good job of this, and she doesn't post about it as much, but I think Lindsay Matway is so good at being very real about the type of coach she wants on her team. And she's not afraid to tell people probably no, that they don't fit those qualities and maybe they should go, this route or something like that. I've heard her talk about maybe I'll steer them into being a challenger instead. And then posting about that stuff daily. I love my memories that pop up on my phone, because whenever I was, when Paige talks about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever, I was posting about coaching. This is back before stories. I was posting about coaching on Facebook every single day. We would post 3 to 5 times a day, but one of those posts was about coaching. And I would just go through this list of different things that I would post about. And every day there would be a new one, and it's kind of crazy, but it would just be like today, it would be like doing 3, stories or so about coaching a day. The second mindset shift that I want you guys to make. So the first one was like that scared about posting shifted into like being bold in your post and being super confident in what it is that you're looking for, what you want to accomplish, what you love about this business. Number 2, is afraid to ask that girl that would be a killer coach, to confidently telling her that she would be great, why she would be great, and that you'd be honored to have her on your team. I think sometimes we get so like, oh, how do I invite to coaching? Oh, how do I do that? You tell her how awesome she is and that she'd be great at what you do, but you have to know what makes her awesome in order to tell her why she would be awesome at this. Okay. So just looking at someone's Instagram and being like, I love your vibe on your Instagram. Do you want to do this with me? Like, if you got a post like that, you'd be like, ooh, icky, weird. Like, no. But if you get to know someone, which I would never just cold invite someone to coaching unless they've showed some interest. Maybe they did post it, clicked on a poll or whatever it might be. But if they genuinely, like, I love something about them, I would let them know that's what I love about them and let them know that's why they would be so good at what I do. Okay. So I'm thinking of like this one girl that I have on, that I follow on Instagram. I haven't invited her at all. We've just been connecting, whatever it is. Like, she's pregnant also. We're at the same stage. She's already like a marketing person or something like that. She already works from home. She has this adorable dog. Like, she just has this like cuteness factor, as weird as that sounds. I know that's so ridiculous, but she also is like very bold in her faith and that type of thing. So I would list out those things that I love about her. I know it sounds maybe kind of creepy, but I love people when they send me messages and just like, I love this about you. I'm like, cool, that's awesome. Like, who wouldn't appreciate that? And then inviting her and saying like, I think you'd be really great at what I do. Have you ever thought about it? That's not like creepy or icky. You're investing in them. You're getting to know them. You're letting them know what it is that you love about them. Most of my leaders on my team have started out as coaches. That's not the same for everybody, but most of them did not. I think I have maybe one girl that's kind of becoming a diamond or is above a diamond, that started out as a challenger and then transitioned to coach, but she was only a challenger for 1 month. So she didn't do several months or anything like that. I find that my leaders, they want to lead, and they want to lead pretty early on, and they don't want to stay in my challenge groups, and they don't want to be, in my coach peaks forever. They want to go. They want to get out from under my nest, and they want to go do their own thing. And I think that's like maybe the number one little thing of like, ding ding, like, this girl is going somewhere, is because she's ready to like I don't have to say, do you think it's time for you to go do your own group? Do you think maybe you should try this? Or I think you have enough people, why don't you go do it? No, they're like, hey Meg, it's 2 weeks into our group and I think I got this. Can I go do my next one on my own? And I'm like, you sure you don't want to stay around? Like, I want them to stay around because their vibe is awesome and they're positive and they're encouraging and they're commenting on everybody's stuff. Like, I want to keep them around, but I know that like the best thing to do is to like let them fly the coop, as hard as it is sometimes, because I'm like, dang, I want your energy in my sneak peeks. I want your energy in my challenge groups. But that's just what I've realized, is that most of the leaders on our team that you see showing up, they start out as coaches. So they're doing their fitness journey as starting out as coaches, and they don't stick around in my challenge groups, and they don't stick around in my sneak peeks very long. A little longer in the sneak peeks than they do in the challenge groups, but that's just what I've noticed. And so keep an eye on people like that. Keep an eye on people who want to fly the coop really early. And those are the people that you spend that time with and you invest your time and energy in. Not saying that girls that stick around for a while are not good coaches. It's just, I see that they aren't as consistent with hitting Success Club because they don't have that like push to bring new people into theirs, because I'm bringing new people in. So why do they need to bring new people in all the time? So just something I've noticed. Okay, number 3, the biggest good change in your mindset is being timid about hosting a peek into coaching to organizing one with maybe 2 or 3 other coaches. It doesn't even have to be organizing it with your coach. Maybe you grab 2 or 3 other people on this call and you guys just run one together. You know, I'm sure that Paige has materials that she'd be happy to share with you. I'm happy to share what's been working with me, but there's something about, I'm going to lead talking about this business, that those people that are interested in the business, they see you talking and they go, ding, ding, she's a leader. I can follow her lead. I can do what she's doing. Okay. And that's just something that I've noticed. I think one of my biggest blessings is that my coach went kind of MIA kind of early in the business, and she still kind of works the business, kind of posts on social media and stuff like that. But we just kind of started splitting in that, like, I had these goals and she had these goals. And I was like, okay, if I want to do these, I have to start doing my own thing. I can't, it was kind of one of those, like, every other month she would want to do a peek into coaching. And I was like, but I want to bring in coaches every month. Or, every now and then she would promote for a challenge group. And I was like, no, I want to get consistent in bringing in new challengers every month. And so I just kind of started realizing, like, ooh, I need to take ownership of this. I need to make this mine. And that was a huge blessing. And one of the things it forced me into doing was running my own peeks into coaching. And so I grabbed 2 other coaches that were luckily on my team. I think one of them was even in our downline. And I just said, let's do this. Like, we're just going to fail forward. And I don't even know if we added any coaches that first one we did. I don't even know if anybody showed up, but we did it. And we got better every month. We did one. Okay. Number 4, this is my favorite one. And this is, more like your mental changes, I guess, is that mindset shift from calling it a little coaching thing, or that little thing I do, or that little side thing I do, or kind of this thing I do in my free time, to calling it a business. And maybe you don't want to call it a business yet. That's totally fine, but don't call it that little coaching thing. One thing that I noticed, I did a diamond retreat in November, and it was kind of my idea / I kind of told Zach, I was like, hey, will you organize this for me? But we got videos from all the husbands, just quick little, like, 2 to 3 minute videos of them just talking to their wives directly on video about how they're so proud of them, what they're proud about, what they've been able to accomplish, things like that. And the girls that I noticed were growing successful businesses, their husbands talked about their business and used the word business, as crazy as that sounds. And they talked about, I noticed that Paige is, doing this, and she shows up every single day. And I'm so, like, whatever it was that they were saying about them. And then the coaches that were maybe either newer diamonds or, were kind of struggling here and there every now and then, their husbands talked about it as, like, this fun little hobby that my wife does. And it was so crazy. Like, I didn't notice it until I put all the videos together and I watched all of them, and I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Like, the way they're talking about it to their spouses made such a difference. And, obviously it was like peeling back the layers. Like, this is what they thought. It wasn't just what their husbands thought and what their husbands labeled it as. It was like, this is how they're talking to their husbands. So that's how they're talking to potential coaches. That's how they're talking to their challengers about what it is that this opportunity is. And you guys, like, this is a business. Like, I earn business worthy income to the point where it's so stable and it's so like great. I can't even say that. I don't even know how to say this. So my Zach's boss, he works for a print company here in Jeff City, and his boss, when all this has been going on, his boss was like, and Zach looks up to him. We both, like, he is a mentor to us. Him and his wife are like our like life mentors, basically. Anyways, he's like, I don't know if you guys should build your house, because we were like getting ready to break ground. Like, all of this kind of hit. All of this is happening at the same time. And he's like, I don't know if financially this is the right time for you guys to build a home. And Zach was like, I think we've got this. And, Zach was thinking like, oh, am I going to lose my job? Like, that was, and it wasn't the fact that like Zach was going to lose his job, because he's not. His job is stable. He was, I think, scared of this business that I run, and that I'm independently, whatever, I have an independent business. And it's so fun, because I'm like, ever since then, my income every week has grown since he said that. And it's like almost this like cool, like, not like haha type thing, but it's very much a like, I believe in this, and I believe in it because I am the one driving this business, and I believe in what Beachbody and Carl and all those people. So anyways, from calling it that side little thing that you do to calling it a business will be a game changer for you. I remember in my post when I started transitioning from talking about it in two different ways, and it people just kind of like took me more seriously, I think. Okay, the last one I want to talk about is setting minimum goals every month without income attached, without any meaning to the income, to stretch goals that matter. And the way that I remember this is, I started doing this whenever we were planning our wedding, whenever we were paying off debt. Like, that was like a monumental time in my business, because every month I would sit down and I would say, I want to make X amount of money this month with coaching. I was still teaching, I still had other income. I want to make this amount of money because it's going to go towards this. 1 month it's going to pay for the flowers for our wedding. This month it was going to pay for the photographer. This month it was going to pay for whatever it might be. And just attaching that meaning made it so much more impactful. It made it like not worthwhile. Like, what we do is worthwhile, but it made me push outside my comfort zone, because you guys, I'm an Enneagram 9. So I will literally like be real. I am comfortable being comfortable. I am so comfortable with like being, in that like kind of like easy, peaceful space, not rocking the boat, that type of thing. So I have to really stretch. I have to really have meaning in order to chase after some big old scary goals. And once I started attaching an income to what I could make, which obviously my actions then attached to that income, because I couldn't just meet that income goal without attaching a certain level of actions that I was going to start taking. And then that meaning behind it made it so much more impactful. So with that, there are 2 affirmations that I started saying that I want you guys to start saying out loud to yourself, write them down, however you want to do it. These were like, I've done a lot of different affirmations, but these 2 are the ones that I always go back to that made the biggest difference in my mindset and in this business for me. One of them, you guys hear me say this all the time: I am a leader of leaders. You cannot grow a successful Beachbody business unless you're willing to be a leader of leaders. My goal is to have at least 5 5-star diamond coaches on our team. I want 5 5-star diamond coaches. I would rather have that than be a 15-star diamond team. I want to be a leader of other leaders. I don't want to just stand up and wave to all you guys up on the top shelf up at Summit. I want to wave to you guys right next to me or sitting in the elite seats. I don't want to do this on my own. It's boring on your own. It sucks on your own. If you are helping challengers or having just a bunch of discount coaches on your team, which not saying that's bad, not saying that's bad at all. There is nothing like that is like here fun. Having other women who are serious and excited about this business and doing it with you is like up here fun, like so much more fun. And then when they're yours, it's even better because this is awesome because you guys have this community, but when they are yours, it's like, oh, yes, this is so cool. One of my coaches, Lisa, kind of just now has her first leader starting. This leader is about to hit diamond. She's like she's like one of the top on our Success Club leaderboards every month. And Lisa is literally like lighting up daily because she's like, Lauren did this, Lauren did that, Lauren is asking these questions, because it's like she has this like new like, oh my gosh, this is so cool having coaches that are excited about what we do also. So first affirmation, I am a leader of leaders. The second one kind of has to go with posting. Someone needs to hear what I have to say today. That was a huge thing for me to get over that fear of posting about coaching, inviting even, someone needs to hear what I have to say today. This girl who's going to get invited to coaching needs to hear, even if she doesn't want to coach, she needs to hear the positivity that I'm about to pour into her life whenever I talk about how awesome she is, how those awesome qualities would make her a great coach, and then ask her to coach. That is kind of what I would think would be the perfect formula to inviting to coaching is love on her, show who she is and what she's all about would make her a great coach, and then just throw a quick little like, have you ever thought about it? It's not that scary to ask those questions. Okay, so Paige, I don't think I talked about exactly what we had talked about I would talk about, so I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any. I did not look at the chat at all. So Meg, you got the first one because that's easy. The second one is someone needs to hear what I have to say today.
Meg, it was perfect, but I am sure that people have questions. So this is your chance, you guys. I know some of you had some questions after Saturday's call, even about income. If you have questions about attracting leaders, how you post to get leaders, whatever it is, like I feel like Megan really has mastered this part of the business, and there's nobody better to ask these questions to, both income and growing leaders, finding leaders, that sort of thing.
Do I still use Facebook as much? I do, yeah. Anything I post on Instagram, I also post on Facebook. And I would say half of my people come from Instagram and half come from Facebook. I get way more interaction on Facebook too. Like people comment like crazy on my stuff on Facebook. I think my Facebook is very local though too. I think it's very like mid-Missouri. Whereas I think my Instagram is a little more spread out in like Midwest.
Okay, I'll ask a question.
Yeah.
For people who are, or really anybody, any coaches, how often do you think people should be posting about coaching in order to like consistently have their followers have coaching like in the top of their minds? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it definitely depends. At least for me, what I found to work best is like posting about what you have coming up. So that means that you have to have something, an event attached to coaching coming up at some point in time during the month. So I like to do the first 2 weeks kind of more focused on health, fitness, that type of thing. and then the last 2 weeks more focused on coaching and that type of stuff. So it's not necessarily, but even whenever I'm talking about health, fitness, and that type of stuff, I'm still talking about coaching. I'm just not like having like calls to action, or I'm not I'm not like directly in the post or in the stories telling them that they can join, a coach sneak peek or whatever it might be. So I would say like, golly, twice a week, something like that. Um, and then maybe, I don't know, 2 to 3 times whenever you're actually like promoting for a challenge group, or promoting for a coach sneak peek. I never really get into the like numbers. It's kind of one of those like, it should be as natural as talking about your workouts. Honestly, it needs to get to there. It may not be there right now, but it can get there. And an easy way to do that is like, if you sit down and work, talk about what you're doing, or write your to-do list, or take a snapshot of your your planner, or your tracker, or whatever, your workspace. I know Paige is always talking about like, I was so attracted to the different workspaces that you worked in. I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, you were like working at Panera, and then you were working on your back deck, and then you were working in your office, and you were working in your your living room. And I'm like, okay, well, none of those places are cute or fancy. So, okay, but you never know what is going to attract an Enneagram 7 who loves the freedom of being able to work wherever the heck she wants to work, and not at her teacher desk or whatever it might be.
Meg, I wanted to mention about that. I put that in the chat earlier. I do think we overthink it so much, because the simple fact that you were showing your workspaces made me know that I would have to block out time consistently to work. I did not know what that meant, and I didn't need to know what it meant, but I knew that you were working because you said you were working. So I came in knowing this was a job, and knowing I would be showing up, and knowing I would be consistent. And I think that is so important. That didn't take you any time. It didn't take any creativity. It didn't take like racking your brain or having somebody check your post. It was just like natural. This is what I do. I work. And that's all it took.
Yeah. And I loved showing like me still in my teacher outfit, working on my coaching stuff. Like, I enjoyed showing the fact that like, I'm getting home at, well, I left school as soon as I possibly could. So 3:30 p.m. and I am working on my back deck. It's still in my teacher clothes because I was so pumped, and that's a post. I'm so excited. I can't even get out of my teacher clothes. I want to work in this, whatever it might be. And I know things are different right now, but it is what it is. And I think that's something that maybe I have gotten away from, that I need to go back to. Every time I do these calls, I always think, golly, make a note. I need to do that more, just showing the workspace and showing, I don't know. Yeah.
Here's something else, which I don't even know if I've ever told you, but I also remember when I signed up feeling like you were a leader, and I needed to show up how you asked me to, because of how you showed up on social media. And I think that it's important for all of us to think, like, when people watch us, which golly, when people watch me, what they think they're showing up for, I don't know. But like, when people watch us, do they see us as like business owners with a reputation that work? And do they think that they need to show up to work too? Does that make sense?
Yes.
I definitely felt that. And I definitely felt like when we scheduled a time to chat, it was like, okay, like, she's scheduling this time for me. Like, I need to show up. I need to like do what she's asking me to do, because I wanted you to be like almost impressed. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And at first, when you were my mentor, I was like, okay, like, she's the real deal, and I want to show up like her. So I think it's an important thing for us to ask if people feel that way about us too.
Yeah. I don't remember what his name is, the guy that wrote the book Built to Last, but he talks about having, and I don't know what word he used, but basically like authority is not the right word. He uses a different word, but basically like having like this authority to you that other people want to, like Paige said, like show up for you. Like Like they're not just going to cancel. If someone cancels a like new coach one-on-one chat with me, I'd be like, excuse me, do you realize what I gave up? I just gave up 30-minute block of nap time that I have an hour and a half to work right now. I gave up 30 minutes to you. And, you have to, but I treat my business that way. Like that is my work time. So if you're going to cancel on that, that makes me a little upset. Just like if I were to cancel on my principal who made a special meeting with me because, anyways. Okay, let me go back to some of these things. How do you track leaders through posts? What do you think people are excited about in posts? Okay, Nina, so I think people are most excited about, as weird as this sounds, like what your future dreams are. So I think that it's very bold to say what you want and what is going to happen a year down the road, 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road, because it makes you vulnerable. And I really think that people appreciate vulnerability very much so. And so I think that people, at least what I saw, the biggest change was when I started talking about what my future was going to look like. Rarely did I talk about leaving teaching before I left teaching, though. So I didn't talk about that, but I would talk about, having very calm, peaceful mornings and things like that. So I would talk about, it wasn't like, I'm going to leave my job, because I didn't ever have that mindset that like, I can't wait to leave teaching. It was more of like, I want something more. I want something different for my life. So you can say it in a very nice way without that. And maybe that's not your dream. Maybe your dream is to buy a minivan that's not going to break down on the side of the road. Then post about that. Even if you're not in a place right now where you can buy that fancy Toyota minivan or whatever it might be, like post about that in the future. I don't know what your life is like, Nina. Sorry. I don't know if you're in minivan status. But
Can I just make a funny comment on that? I posted that like, this is my dream, and my dream is a minivan. And my mother-in-law immediately, within like 30 seconds, texted me and said, can I buy your old car off you? I'm like, girl, I still have my car. I'm not buying a minivan right now, but I will have a minivan eventually.
Well, I love it. Hey, she said she's serious. She's going to make this happen.
I know.
But you have to attach, and coaching is going to help me do that. Like
I did. She just didn't read it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love mother-in-laws. They're a deal. Okay. Someone said, I have heard from listening to business leaders on Instagram that we need to pick between wanting to attract a customer or a business partner, but that doesn't seem like a real option for us. What are your all's thoughts on that? So love that question, Caitlin. I actually did, before Angie Lee got like real big, I did one of her like first business trainings, and she was really big on that. She was really big on like, you need to choose this or this. Who do you serve? And I just don't believe that. At least that's not what I've seen to work for me. And so I think that I would disagree. I think that you can be multifaceted on Instagram, and the people that are genuinely invested in you and invested in your life will be able to follow it, I guess is the best way of putting it. I wouldn't have all of these different pain points with health and fitness and then hitting on all these different pain points with coaching. I think you need to have like a very clear, distinct story over here and a very distinct story over here. But I think you can have multiple stories that you're telling at the same time and be attracting different things, I think. That's just my opinion. I am no Instagram professional by any means. I do not have a huge following. I do not have a ton of reach. But it gets me by, honestly. Like it's worked. And so I think I am like one of those people that like, you don't have to have a huge following on Instagram and still see success. But you do have to have invested followers. You have to have, I don't know what the percentage, about a third. probably around a third of my followers watch my stories every single day. And I saw some stat the other day that was like, if 10% watches them, that's great. And I was like, 10%? If 10% of your followers are watching your stories, like what? So I don't get too worked up in that stuff. I just try to like share what's going on. I don't post as much. I think you need to post daily. I see post and stories as two different social media outlets. So for me, I do 4 different social medias: Instagram stories, Facebook stories, Instagram post, Facebook post. These are the same and those are the same. I copied them on both places, but I think there's people that watch post and not watch stories, and I think there's people that watch our stories and not our post. So I think that you are doing yourself a huge disservice by not posting in every free aspect that you possibly can. Like it's free. Instagram does not charge me to post every single day. Like I don't have to pay for those ads or for advertising. Okay, what do you consider post-worthy or story-worthy? I think post-worthy is if there's like intention behind it, I guess. In stories, you don't have to have like all that much intention. You can just like journal your life, I feel like, and show a lot of your personality. I guess that's my kind of like thing. Okay, what do you suggest for women who you think would be killer in the business and post all the time about healthy meals, but not really wanting to work out much or in that aspect? Would you just not ask them? No, we have To Be Mindset and Ultimate Portion Fix. There are tons of coaches, not tons of coaches, but there are coaches who run their businesses on nutrition programs alone. So that's what I would bring up is just kind of like asking about their philosophy behind their healthy meals. You know, do they have a system behind it? What do they follow? So get to know them first, and then kind of attach one of the 2 programs that we have. So I don't think that there's too many coaches that like flip back and forth between the nutrition. Like I'm a diehard To Be Mindset, like get those containers out of here. I don't want to see them. But there's some other people that are like, don't take my containers away. So I think you kind of have to figure out what this person would most likely be attracted to, maybe. Oh man, Nina, sorry. Yeah, you were basically me whenever I first started. Okay, going back to the Facebook thing. Do you post to a business page or just your personal Facebook page? I post to my personal Facebook page. I started out coaching with a business page and it just like could never get great traction. I felt like the only thing that would like get it out there, I felt like, is if I paid for ads. And I was like, I'm not going to continue to pay for freaking ads just to get my post out there. Morgan said she's been posting on Facebook and it's been a game changer. Half people from Facebook, half from Instagram. Yeah, I just kind of like whatever on my Instagram, I hit that, I have that setting on there where it just automatically shoots it to my Facebook. So I just try not to overthink it, I guess. Yeah, I don't think Facebook is dead. I just don't think it's not a place where I like to hang out. So, but not saying there's not people. I find that like older women, typically my older challengers come from Facebook, but I have one girl that's been with me for 2 months and she's been rocking it, and she like works with my mom or something. I'm like, I don't care. There's still a warm market for me 5 years later. So people who say they're running out of people, I'm like, well, are you running out of people yet? Okay, any other questions?
Okay, it looks like all the questions are out. Megan, thank you so much. Guys, if you think of questions in the future for Megan, I'm sure she would be happy to answer them. For those of you ladies in the Diamond Push, we are going into week 2 of that, and I would love to see more engagement on our Facebook group. I know things are happening like behind the scenes. I know people are working, and I love that. And honestly, if I had to pick, I'd pick that over posting in our Facebook group. But like we talked about last week, the energy of you posting and checking in is really, really big. So I want to see that change this week as we move forward. Thank you for showing up on Easter. Megan, thank you for showing up on Easter. Again, sorry, I didn't think about that. But that is all for tonight, guys. It's recorded, so be on the lookout for that.
Right. See you guys.